Hello everyone, it's Jade from Boho Bookworm. Welcome back to my channel. I have been hearing about some pretty good books lately, so I've put some on my Goodreads TBR and I thought I'd share with you the latest that have made that list. The most recent book on my Goodreads TBR is pretty much a no-brainer. It's the new Riley Sager book, The Only One Left. I have read all of Riley Sager's books and I have to say he is a bit of a hit or miss author for me. I either love his books or hate them. It's one or two have been all right, some have just been diabolical, so we'll see how we go with this one. But let me tell you about the premise. So in 1929, Lenora apparently hung her sister with a rope, and it's become this kind of like schoolyard chant. But the police were never really able to prove that Lenora was the one that was responsible for this murder. And the book is set on the Maine coast, and this murder has kind of become a gruesome shock that everyone knows about. Lenora denied it at the time and kind of stayed in this place where the massacre happened. She never got arrested for it because they weren't able to prove it. The chant goes on to say that she stabbed her dad with a knife, and the mother, she took her mother's happy life. So many years later, in 1983, there's this whole schoolyard chant about this. It's kind of become like a big thing in Maine. And the story is based around this carer called Kit, who goes to stay at this place where the massacres happened to actually care for Lenora, who is obviously old now and in need of care. And her last care assistant actually fled like in the middle of the night. She just had enough. So let's see how Kit is going to handle this massacre house and this woman who allegedly murdered her entire family. The next book on my Goodreads TBR is The Quiet Tenant by Clemence Michallon. This book sounds so good. It's about this guy called Aidan Thomas, and everyone seems to love him. He's just like a stand-up guy, but he's harbouring a really dark secret, and that is that he's actually a serial killer. He's got 8 victims on his list already, and there is currently a girl called Rachel locked in his backyard shed, like fearing for her life. And Aidan's wife dies, so like, his family, no one knows this whole part about who he is, this serial killer person that he really is. So when his wife dies, he has no choice but to move with his 13-year-old daughter and take along Rachel, this person that's held captive, and he introduces her to people as a family friend. Rachel's been in captivity for 5 years, so he's kind of hoping that she's just kind of going to play along with it. So this book is told from the point of views of all the women in Aidan's life, and I believe that it's more than just your average thriller. It's also a study of trauma and things like that. So it sounds really deep, really emotional, and honestly captivating and very gritty. So I for one can't wait. Then we have Mothered by Zoje Stage, which is about this girl who just seems like really claustrophobic as she is stuck with her mother during quarantine. So Grace really isn't excited about the fact that her mum has kind of got to come and live with her now during the pandemic, because she's recently become a widow and they've never had a good relationship. But being stuck in a house with someone for months on end in quarantine during the pandemic, it just sounds awful, especially if you don't really like your parents. So I think that this book would be quite interesting in that it's got the COVID-19 element to it. It's got the lockdown that all of us went through. It turns out that Grace has this disabled twin sister, and old wounds start to like kind of fester open, and all sorts of like nitty-gritty stuff starts to come to the surface. So I don't know, I've read another Zoje Stage book before and it was quite twisted, so it's one that I'm definitely going to try to give Zoje Stage another go. Then a book that I haven't heard anything about called The House at Phantom Park. It's written by a guy called Graham Masterton. I've never heard of him before, but this book caught my eye, so it's on my list. Some call this guy the master of horror, so let's see if he lives up to that, shall we? I think I was looking for like a haunted kind of book when I found this one on Audible, and that's why I kind of put it on my TBR, because it sounded quite good. It's about this abandoned hospital. Pain lives on in this hospital and it wants revenge. There's this woman called Lillian Chesterfield, and she's in charge of turning this place into like a luxury housing complex after it's been abandoned for about 3 years. But as they start their work, strange things start to happen. They start to hear screams coming from the empty rooms, things like that, and you know, it just sounds creepy and right up my street. Let me know if you've heard of any of those books or if you've read any of them. I don't know when I'll get around to reading them. I've got like a month and a half to go until our little baby boy is here now. So I'm trying to read books as much as I can, though I can't. I'm about to finish Secluded Cabin Sleep 6. Then I need to go on to the fourth book in the sixth Tudor Queen series. I've got a few audiobooks on the go at the moment. What do I have? I've got The Last Word by Taylor Adams, who wrote No Exit, which in the beginning, that book hooked me so much, but now I'm just like, kind of lost me a little bit. I also had The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates, which is like another haunting book, because that's kind of the vibe that I'm wanting to get into right now. But again, it hooked me in the beginning and then very quickly lost me. Don't know what's going on. I just don't seem to be able to concentrate. Maybe there's just too much going on. I mean, obviously there's more going on than I've ever had in my life before. I'm about to bring a whole new life into the world, so I'm trying to go easy on myself. And if I'm not feeling a book at the moment, unlike before where I would normally just really try and persevere and like force myself to read it, I am just kind of letting it go a bit and coming back to it later, trying again. I've just kind of eased up a bit on the whole, oh, I must finish it. There's just no point right now because I've got bigger things to worry about. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Let me know how you are in the comments down below, and have a chat about books. Let me know what book you have been most excited to read lately that you've, you know, recently heard about. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.